Okay, here we are in Chapter 8, and we get to write and graph inequalities. This is kind of a fun thing. Inequalities are things that are not equal or are equal, depending. This is when we use like the greater than or the less than sign. And this is greater, and this is less. Oops. Do it right. So for instance, if I'm writing, I might say that 3 is greater than 1. And we want to read from left to right, read in that direction. If we were to write it the other way, we'd say that 1 is less than 3. And when we read it from right to left, then that's how we know that this is the greater than sign and this is the less than sign, because we read it from left to right. Now we could read it from right to left, and we could say 1 is less than 3, and that would be true. But usually we read from left to right, so this is the greater than sign, and this is the less than sign. Okay, I think that makes sense. Let me show you one other thing. There's a greater than or equal to, and this would be a less than or equal to. So for instance, we could say that x is greater than or equal to 2. And what that looks like on a number line is you have a number line and you might have all these marks on the number line: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these marks just keep going: 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In effect, they proceed forever into infinity in both directions. So like over here, we'd have -1, -2, -3, and so on. So we have greater than or less than sign. X is greater than or equal to 2 means that whatever x is, it's bigger than, greater than, or equal to 2. So if I change my number here and I make a little solid line here, that's equal to 2. And since it's greater than or equal to 2, it means it's equal to 2 and it includes everything in this direction. So sometimes we'll come along, we'll use a ruler, we'll make a nice arrow like that. And so we see that x is greater than or equal to 2 is a number line that includes 2 and goes to the right, because that's the greater than direction. Now if I were to rewrite, hopefully I can get back to my color, maybe slightly, say that x is less than or equal to 5. Now this is a whole different one. We're gonna have to look at another number line down here. And we're going to just draw them again: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, actually, maybe we'll change the numbers up. We'll do like something like -2, -1, 0, 1, just so you can see all the numbers. And again, they go forever in both directions. But this says x is less than or equal to 5. 5 is right here, so it could be equal to 5. Or it could be less than 5, and that includes everything in this direction. This is the less than direction. This is how we would graph this. Now, if I were to go and change this graph so that it just says x is less than 5, use my little handy eraser here, the x is less than 5. Oh, I guess I need to use this one. Ooh, no, that's too big. Okay, so x is less than 5. So now I have to change this too, so that this is not a solid line. You have to pick the right tool every time. Alright, so let's fill it back in. 5. So it's not equal to 5 anymore, it's just less than 5. So we're going to do a hollow circle here. Instead of a solid circle, the solid circle means it's also equal to, with this little line under here. The solid circle means it's equal to. The hollow circle means it's just less than or just greater than. Ta-da! I think that'll do it for you. We still have to talk about our number sentences. What you about is the idea of changing number sentences. And this is actually the first example in the lesson, and I'm saving it for last because I think it's a little harder to explain. For instance, letter A on number 1 says, and number C is less than 4. So we just have to write that. Number C is less than 4. And when we think about less than or greater than, we need to make sure that we understand that this is kind of like an arrow, and it's pointing to the smaller one. Or you can think of it as a mouth that's eating the bigger one. So 4 is bigger than C. C is a number, so they just said a number. I have to spell it out here. C is, which is kind of like equals, but here we use the sign, is less than 4. Okay, is less than 4. So C is less than 4. And the next one is an inequality is C. Oh wait, that's the answer. I'm reading the thing that showed us what this is, and I just explained it. Silly Mr. Armstrong. A number k plus 5 is greater than or equal to 8. Let me say it again. A number k plus 5 is greater than or equal to 8. So that means a greater than or equal to, which means I put a little line under it, 8. And that's what it looks like. So this is the greater than or equal to sign. And if it says a number plus 5 is greater than 8, then this arrow is going to point to the smaller number, or it's going to eat this direction this time. This direction this time. It's like little teeth here is what I'm trying to draw. I know they're silly. We could, it's like a Pac-Man. It's eating the bigger number. It's a hungry Pac-Man. Okay? Something like that. However you want to think about it, you have to be able to differentiate or tell the difference between these two symbols. The next one, letter C, says 4 times the number Q is at most 16. Now this is a little harder. 4 times the letter Q means 4Q is at most 16. So we've got, so this is at most 16, which means that 16 could be equal, but it's at most 16, so the biggest that this could be is 16. So usually 4 times Q is less than 16, unless it's big enough to be equal to 16. Now let's read that again. 4 times a number Q, 4Q, is at most 16. And so that's kind of that's a tough one. But we know that it's less than or equal to, because it's the most it can be is 16. So it can't be greater than 16. Okay, I think that makes sense, and I think you're ready to do this lesson.